there's an article going around that LA Knight has backstage heat. Could this be the reason maybe why he's not getting his push, or is it something else entirely? And when is Bray Wyatt returning? We haven't seen that man since prior to WrestleMania. Who could he be targeting next? We're also going to talk about that as well, among other things. So let's start with Bray Wyatt. We actually haven't seen Bray Wyatt since probably a few days into March. And he was slated to face Bobby Lashley at the Show of Shows. And the reason how we got to this was February 17th on the edition of SmackDown, Bray Wyatt claimed that whoever survived between Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar at the Elimination Chamber, which took place the following day, February 18th, that he was going to recommend that they run. In other words, he was targeting them, straight up. Bobby Lashley was the one that winded up winning the match between himself and the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar, at the Elimination Chamber Premium Live event, thus leading to an inevitable clash between the almighty Bobby Lashley and the Eater of Worlds. Doesn't go by that anymore, but that's what I like to call him still. Bray Wyatt. We looked like we were heading in that direction, and although a lot of fans were a bit against it, they saw that maybe Bray Wyatt's supernatural elements should be kept away from someone like Bobby Lashley, who's a bit more straight and narrow, more serious type of character, and ultimately we may have dodged what could have potentially not been really a great feud, because after all of that, it looked like Uncle Howdy started attacking Lashley. It looked like we were really heading in that direction. Bray Wyatt started doing the Muscle Man dance meme video that went pretty viral and was making fun of Lashley and things like that. Ultimately, Bray Wyatt was seemingly taken off TV, and the reason was never really disclosed up until a couple weeks later, where Sean Ross of Fightful Select reported that he did have some sort of minor physical injury that they could not actually get a complete disclose of, or get it disclosed of completely, which makes a lot of sense. You know, he's had these type of issues in the past, and if they don't want to disclose that, then they don't really have to. We'll eventually see him back again, or so we thought. We thought he was going to be back after WrestleMania. We thought he was going to be back after, you know, Backlash. We thought we'd see him a little bit after that. It turns out we're not going to see Bray Wyatt until potentially SummerSlam, which is perfectly fine with me. Now, there is a rumor that Bray Wyatt will intervene in one of two main events at SummerSlam. Those two main events are as follows. There is Roman Reigns and Jey Uso for the Undisputed Universal Championship, and the second quote-unquote main event is, again, Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar, which at this point in time, the stipulation for said match is unknown. If I had to throw my hat into the race there, I'd say I would love a bull rope match. I think that that would be a pretty good way to do it. Or maybe like a four pillars match. What is it called when they have to tap the four corners of the match to win? We haven't seen that in a long time. I know some people refer to that as a bull rope match. I don't exactly know if those are the same thing. But Eddie Guerrero versus JBL, when they did have those four corners, that match was incredible to me. And it did a lot for both men, in my opinion. And it solidified what I expected out of a match like that. Anyways, I'm rambling. So we know that that's going to happen. Bray Wyatt, odds are, will be targeting Cody Rhodes, and here's why. The official Uncle Hardy account went ahead and retweeted something that Bray Wyatt posted on August of 22nd, 2020. I'm so sorry, 2019. We do one take here, okay? I don't script my videos. He literally quoted the video, the entire tweet, I should say, and it said he did that. He was his partner. He trusted him. He was ridiculed in front of the world for someone else's failed attempt at fame. It destroyed him. And from his ashes, a butterfly was born. But the memory remains. And this is what Bray Wyatt was responding to. Hey Bray Wyatt, have you ever heard of this wannabe? Sure is husky and a little sexy. Now, to give you guys a quick context as to why Bray Wyatt may even blame Cody Rhodes for this, here's what follows, yeah? Cody Rhodes, when he was dashing Cody Rhodes, was an NXT mentor, which at the time, the first like maybe 2 seasons of NXT had a main roster talent with one of the NXT newbies, and they were like his mentor. Miz was with Daniel Bryan, Chris Jericho was with Wade Barrett, Cody Rhodes was with Husky Harris. So with that being said, that is why Bray Wyatt could potentially target Cody Rhodes here, as there is a story that leads back almost a decade, if not more so. I can't even remember the exact year. I want to say it's like a decade plus probably at this point. So it would make a lot of sense if Bray Wyatt and Cody Rhodes have that feud. However, I would argue that either man cannot really afford a loss right now. So if you had to book this feud, how would you do it? Both men are incredible storytellers, but again, as far as like victories and losses, I would argue Bray needs a victory, and so does Cody. The next story we have on today's news video is going to be the whole LA Knight reportedly having heat backstage, and that he's bad at backstage politics and has a rep for rubbing some people the wrong way. Now, let me be the first to tell you, I don't think this is true. I don't think he'd be getting the mic time that he's been getting recently, alongside being heavily featured well, not really heavily featured, but he's been allowed to speak a bit more frequently than in recent months. And if that were the case, I would argue that that would not be heat. I would argue that they are slating him for a major push that will be coming. Now, if you guys didn't see my video yesterday, I spoke about how they're going to give him his push and why it didn't happen so soon. Here's the article that claims he has backstage heat. Fans have gotten behind LA Knight this year, and despite the way he's been booked in recent weeks and months, there are plans to do much more with him after SummerSlam. PWTorch.com reported that Vince McMahon has grown to be a fan of Knight, and it's pretty clear that Paul Levesque has been behind him since NXT days. McMahon had Knight in with the Maximum Male Models group last year, and there was talks that he could be released. Knight has stated publicly that he was expecting to be let go, but his fortunes changed when Triple H became the head person running the creative end of things backstage. The story continues after the embedded video below. LA Knight gets a huge pop at SmackDown. However, one thing that some backstage are saying about Knight is that his push can be derailed because of his reputation for rubbing people the wrong way and being bad at backstage politics, per sources of Wade Keller of The Torch. Keller also noted that despite Knight's work being average or below average from what you see from the main eventers, he is on course to get a high-level push because of the way he has connected with the crowd. But if his push fizzles, then it is likely because of the way he handles himself backstage. So the jury is out. The plans to push Knight after SummerSlam are in place, but if those plans change, then you know the likely reason why. BWE, right? Now, if you guys don't know, this person is incredibly credible. Not one thing that this person has tweeted out and or said and or rumored and or cultivated or gathered intel, or any intel that this person has acquired, has ever been inaccurate in any capacity. BWE has cleared that LA Knight has no issues backstage, so these so-called news accounts should really see who the source is before creating clickbaiting headlines and spreading lies about a person. But truth be told, I can't even blame not BWE, but the other person, the PW Torch people, because LA Knight, you put his name in your YouTube videos, you are going to get views, you are going to get clicks, you are going to get analytics, which in turn, even if it is for a small amount of time, will get you buzzing. So I can't really blame them, man. But like at the same time, like this person says, you got to start looking at things, you know what I mean? Like he's accurate. So yeah, there you have it, guys. I told you about Bray Wyatt, I told you about LA Knight. I was going to tell you about other things, but it turns out we're out of time. So if you guys want me to tell you how I would book Cody Rhodes and Bray Wyatt, please let me know in the comments. I do have another video separately, potentially maybe talking about that. We'll see. If you guys haven't seen my LA Knight video about the push yesterday, go check that out. Peace.